during sleep, you are going to be paralyzing my body while I try and not die of fear. Um, and it is going to feel very tight in my chest as you sort of loom over me. And you know what? We've come to love that. So, oh, hello. Are you here for the 3 o'clock? Okay, yeah. Come in, come in. Oh, I'm sure you're a bit confused. It's gonna be totally fine. Normally when you come and you try to haunt somebody in their sleep, it's a little, you're not expecting to sort of be greeted by them in this way. But, we do things differently around here. So please have a seat. Let's get this started. I do have other candidates, but I do think that this is going to be a really good fit for us. So let's just go ahead and get started. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I can see you're a little bit confused, right? So you are a sleep paralysis demon. I've heard a lot about you in particular. You've sort of, you've gone all around. I believe you haunted many a celebrity. Really, very impressive resume. But one of the things that we're going to have to discuss is just this operation that we have going on here, sort of the Basil mind field, is it's a bit different. My mind is a bit different. So I'm sure that you, as a sleep paralysis demon, have had many unique experiences, and I would love to hear about that. But let's first make sure that this is a right fit for the both of us. Yeah. Okay then. So let me just get some notes going. Oh yes, of course I have notes. This is one of those things where you have to be prepared, because if you're not prepared, then you're just gonna look like a fool. So where did I? Nope, that is a different candidate. She wasn't really a good fit. No, she wasn't ready to understand. She wasn't ready to be committed, is really what I would say about her. I know I'm not supposed to talk about these things, but rules and regulations are pretty strict. However, when it comes to like labor laws, they haven't really made it to the sleep paralysis world. So I'm sort of taking advantage of that while I can, right? So let us talk. Let's talk about the agenda first, right? Because I think that that's going to be pretty important. So let me introduce myself. I am Basil. I am the mind that you're going to be haunting. During sleep, you are going to be paralyzing my body while I try and not die of fear. And it is going to feel very tight in my chest as you sort of loom over me. And you know what? We've come to love that. So just sort of introducing myself in that way. We're going to talk more about myself in a bit and about the company culture, my mind culture. And then we're going to talk about sleep paralysis demons in general, right? Like, what is it? What are you? What do you do? What's your purpose? I find that this is really important because I think that, I don't know about you, but a lot of your fellow cohort, they love to just not know. They're very ignorant about themselves. They're just like, oh, we just kind of go around and we just do whatever we want, and we haunt however we please and whatnot. And I think the tides are shifting, the tides are changing. It's 2025. I think that that's truly it's a thing of the past. It's a bit more it's a bit problematic, I would say. So really we need to be aware and really think about that, right? So next, we're going to talk about the sort of timings of things, when you should or should not be doing hauntings, how will you have access, that sort of thing. And then we're going to discuss sort of off-limit procedures. These are things that we need to discuss because as you're attached to me and you are my sleep paralysis demon, what ends up happening is that if I die, you die, right? And that's bad for both of us because I don't think I'm going to heaven and I don't think you are either. So I think that we're just, for the better interest of both of us, we should discuss off-limit things, things that are off-limits, so that I can live a fairly normal life and you can live a fairly normal sleep paralysis demon life. And then lastly, we'll just have a few questions for you. And just a few things to make sure that you understand the type of environment that we're cultivating here. Yeah. So let's just move on. And before we actually get started, did you want something to drink? I know that this is a bit. Okay, yeah, you want. Okay, totally. Yeah, we have a little bit of. We have some tea. It is brewed with children's nightmares. We did try to get adults' nightmares, but they're a lot harder to come by. Children's nightmares are really, really easy to come by, and inflation has gotten really hard, and so I don't think we can really afford a lot of adult nightmares. So it's one of those things where we, it's one of the things we needed to cut back. So let's just get this in here. I'm just pouring a bit of children's nightmare tea in here. Okay, how about drink up, huh? Oh, perfect. There you go. Yeah, see? Doesn't it taste good? Yeah, I'll leave this here for you. Yeah, okay. I think that's good. Okay, so let me introduce you to myself. Like I said, my name is Basil. One of the things that makes me a really, really good person to pair yourself with as a sleep paralysis demon is I have a very high pay. And, I pay, it's a very high emotional pay. You will always be looked at. You will always be paid attention to. You're never going to be left by yourself and to your own devices. And that's really a good thing, right? You're not going to be slacking off. You're not going to be doing, whatever you want to be doing. There's going to be a very strict regimen. And I think that is, that is sort of like a payment all in itself, right? Like, I sort of noticed that a lot of sleep paralysis demons, they just, they don't know how to get on the grind set. They just don't know how to do that. They're a bit, what's the word? Yeah, they're a bit tied to their own desires, is what I would like to say. And I'm trying to be a bit more sensitive to that sort of. You are a sleep paralysis demon, but I can tell you're a little bit different, right? So there's that. I do want to mention that we do have a family culture here. So you are going to be acting as my, as my father. It's one of those things where I think that you would remind me a lot of him. And so, if you want to be my mother as well, that is an option that we have. The roles will be a little bit different, right? But I think it would be easier to scare me if you are acting as sort of like a paternal figure. Not to say that sort of a maternal figure would not be scary. It's just that, let me write that down. So what would you prefer, actually? I think I would like to ask that. Okay, yeah, I can totally. Yeah. Okay. And so in terms of your pay, it is going to be salaried. We do expect overtime, but we don't pay overtime. Like I said before, the sort of, labor laws have not really made it to the sleep paralysis realm yet. And let's just make sure that you understand that until someone stops me, I'm going to be exploiting you in whatever capacity that I can. It's really just me trying to take back control. Trying to do something that I think would be really important for my mind, right? And I'm trying to provide culture and a safe space. Anyway, next is I wanted to mention in terms of myself, I have gone through 33 different sleep paralysis demons. They've all had their ups and downs, and they've all brought something new to the table, and I think every single one has been a learning experience. It is a high body count, I will say that, but I don't shy away from it. It's mistakes that we learn and we grow from, and that's what makes us human, right? And that's what makes us demons. So really what that means is that I now have very high standards, and you're going to have to work to meet those standards. So let's just make sure that you have that expectation set. Yeah, okay. Okay, so you're not worried about... Okay, yeah, totally. good. Okay. And one of the things that, in terms of myself, through my 30 to 33 sleep paralysis demons, one of the things that I've learned is that I do offer 60 days PTO. It's a lot of PTO, but you must live in my mind for the remaining days of the year. What that means is that you're going to be seeing a lot of what I see, and I will be torturing you with my mundane life. However, you do get 60 days PTO, and there's not many minds that you could really, you could say would give you PTO like that. So, okay. So just doing that. And then in terms of amenities, within my mind, there are a few places that I think you could sort of find some really nice amenities. We're working on a few other things, but right now what we definitively have is you have access to my Mind Palace. That, of course, is just sort of all of the knowledge and data banking that I have. Sort of marble flooring, some silk curtains, nice sort of bedding, and many servants are all in there. And you have access to that whenever you want, so long as you're not working. So that would be good. You can invite people over, and that's primarily going to be your residence. It is off-grid, so there is no internet. I don't know if that's going to be much of a problem for you. I do think you'll have access to the ethereal net, so I think that it should be fine. The next thing is that you will have access to the torture spa. The torture spa was a place that was attached to our all-natural gym, but it did unfortunately burn down. We let in some fire demons. They tried to use some of the equipment, and because their sweat is really hot, it melted the equipment, which caused a spark, and we don't have firefighters within my mind, so it just sort of is like lost into the ethereal space of the void of like my sort of very, very blank mind. So... But the torture spa is great for like when you want like a day off, one of your PTO days that you take. You'll be able to sort of relax in the torture spa. We've got, they could like stretch you or give you one of those like really terrible massages. And there is a, I forgot what it's called. Yeah, see, I don't know the name of it, and I don't think the name is on, because I don't remember what the name is. It's not on the door, so you'll just have to figure it out. But it's the place where all the steam is. Oh, it's a sauna. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, so now they're all rushing in to put it on the door. Wow. Okay. So yes, you have the Mind Palace and the torture spa. You also have the library of trash books. Unfortunately, we don't have any quality books around. We don't have any of like the award-winning books or anything like that. Instead, we have a lot of books, sort of the Twilights of the world. And not to say that Twilight is trash, but it is. Certainly not Shakespeare, right? We don't have access to Shakespeare, but we do have access to all of Twilight, including the new one, the semi-new one, the one that's from Edward's perspective. That's actually a very interesting read. I think that really sheds a light on how terrible Edward is. But I was Team Edward. Don't come for me. I don't know what you sleep paralysis demons think, but I would imagine that you guys would like Edward as well, right? Because you're vampires are sort of similar to demons in a sense. But they don't sleep. Oh my god, am I being insensitive here? Are vampires like the natural born enemies of sleep paralysis demons? Oh my god, I need to write this down. Yeah, this is going to go into the Mind Palace for sure. Yeah. Okay, so just write that down. Okay. And then, of course, you have access to Helen. Helen, of course, is fabulous secretary. So, next, let's go to... Oh, are you getting a little... Okay, you're getting a little distracted. You're sort of... Oh, okay, so you do have sort of ADHD. That's totally fine. A lot of sleep paralysis demons do end up having ADHD. I do end up having this really, really great. They're just sort of like little metal magnets, sort of like these beads. They're really great to play with. Right here, I'll show you. You can see you can just sort of play with them, and just throughout the rest of this sort of meeting, you can just play with them in your hands, and that way you'll have something, it's the physical version of like Subway Surfers, right? So here, let me just put that down for you. Okay, here you go. There we go. So, moving right along, let's talk about sleep paralysis demons. So how much do you know of your own kind? Okay, so you're an educated sleep paralysis demon. That's good to know. Yeah, I saw that on your resume, but I wasn't sure because I hadn't heard of the school that you went to. What was it called again? Okay, cool. Okay, so like I said, I've been through 33 sort of sleep paralysis demons. And the last one, of course, she did go to Florida. Sad time. I don't know why, but I wanted to say that in terms of sleep paralysis demons, I know that your culture is very, very important. It's like, as is your particular culture. Like, I don't want to generalize about all sleep paralysis demons. I'm sure each one is different, and you all come from very different places. They have different cultures. It's brimming with personality. So if you have any religious or cultural holidays that you want me to be aware of, I will take that into account for sure. And it'll be seriously taken into consideration. And there's also something in terms of, I noticed a lot of sleep paralysis demons are a little bit of they're loners. And I can kind of sort of tell from your face that you're a little bit of a loner. So we do offer a matchmaking service. It's very, very simple. You sort of put your name, sort of age, how long you've been doing the sleep paralysis game, and sort of what your preferences are, and we'll help you hook you up with a suitable person, another sleep paralysis demon. But we do offer some non-sleep paralysis demons, like some Yetis and Bigfoots and stuff like that. We try not to go too far into the ethereal, because we find that a sleep paralysis demon needs to be grounded, hence why you like to be attached to someone and to haunt them during their sleep time. So if we attach you to something that can sleep, then we end up finding that you have a much better time. So would you like to be signed up for the matchmaking service? Great. Okay. So next, let's talk about timing. So in terms of schedules, the haunting schedule will be posted every week on Sunday. It'll be at 3 p.m. generally. So if you have, if you're worried about not getting enough shifts, you can always come talk to me. I'll work it out with you. Just simply ask me. I want to be a safe space for you to come and talk to me, because I don't want to have to hire someone else for HR. My mind is crowded enough as it is. I don't really need that. But of course, if it's necessary, I will do it. It's not that I don't believe in HR. I just think that HR tends to benefit just the company and doesn't actually benefit the workers. And so maybe I should hire HR, because HR would benefit me and not you. So maybe scratch that. I will hire HR at some point. But until then, you can talk to me about it. Okay, so the sweet spot for hauntings is 3 a.m. I have a very strange sleep schedule, so you're going to have to keep in mind that I sort of drift in and out of sleep, and by 3 a.m. I'm generally asleep, or at least trying to sleep, right? And it's a sweet spot because if I'm not asleep, there will be tea, crumpets, and cake for you. One of the things is that we had at least 7 different sleep paralysis demons leave, mainly because I really spiked their blood sugar and they needed to sort of work on their nutrition and their relationship with food. So, good for them. I'm not really worried about that. And it's just something where it's like, if you don't want any out, of course, if you want sort of like peanut butter and celery and sort of more healthy options, I can totally bring that to you. I just mostly prefer the tea, crumpets, and cake. And I will leave that on my bedside, so you can just have that when you come over to haunt, right? So, and now I do have to warn you in terms of timings. Sometimes I sleep while my husband is also sleeping, and he has a CPAP machine. That will suck you up and to destroy you. So just make sure that you steer clear from it, because if you do get in there, there's nothing more that I can do. We did end up losing Susan that way, and it's really a shame. Her like sleep paralysis family was really, really devastated. They didn't show up for the funeral, surprisingly, but maybe that's because when I hosted it, I did say that it was sort of a funeral slash sort of recruiting event. So anyway, okay, so with that, let's move on. Okay, actually, there is a few pages here. Okay, now let's talk about things that are off limits. First of all, no snacks. I know I said you can get sort of like the tea, crumpets, cake, or whatever healthy options that you need, but you can't have any snacks in between then while you're haunting me. It just makes you really gassy, and I can really sense it within my soul. What ends up happening is that my soul gets really, really bloated. And then I just don't feel good for the rest of the day, And I don't think as a sleep paralysis demon, your goal is to make me feel bad. Next, you have to think about, you can't go to my husband. I think that is a little bit of off limits. Not only is it because you might get sucked up and die, but also because when you end up going to him, what will end up happening is that you will end up leaving and like breaking away the contract that you have with me, and you'll almost certainly start to dissipate, and you'll have to find someone else. And he is especially resilient, so you can't find solace in his mind. So, okay. Next is you're not allowed to interact with the cats. They will kill you for sport. There are 2 cats. They will look at you, they'll meow at you. Even when you're not haunting, if you're just sort of chilling around, just try to steer clear from them. They're sort of like a little hazard for you to sort of keep that mental straight, right? And keep it sharp, right? If you want, you need to be sharp to be in my mind, right? So, of course, if you do die from my cats, it isn't a clause within the contract that you won't be able to sue. Like I said, labor laws haven't really made it here, but this is one of the things where you can sue, and we did get into a sort of like a little bit of legal trouble with God regarding it. However, we did end up winning, and we got a few $1 million out of it. So, if you die, you might actually have to pay me. And no peeing on the carpet. That will make grass grow in the carpet, and it's just really a hassle. I don't have to weed my own carpet, So just make sure not to pee on the carpet. Pee like a normal sleep paralysis demon right in my ear. And lastly, you cannot paralyze my breathing. I've had a few sleep paralysis demons try to do this, and they're not very good at realizing that if I die, you die. And, breathing is the way that I stay alive. So you can paralyze every other part of my body, but you cannot paralyze my breathing, because that will, in fact, cause you to die. And then, we'll both be unhappy. Okay, so let's just do that. I'm just making a few notes to myself about how this meeting is going. It's going really well, in my opinion. Okay, how's the little metallic magnets treating you? Good, yeah. Okay, so lastly, I have a few questions for you in terms of, just a few questions to make sure that we're on the same page. So, to you, what is a sleep paralysis demon? Okay. Okay, and what would you say is your purpose? To foster a family, yeah. Okay. And do you have, in terms of when you start living in the Mind Palace, how do you feel about a curfew? Positive. Okay, good. Yeah, because there will be a curfew. Okay. And in terms of chores around the house, are you amenable to a chore chart? Okay. Okay. And do you feel like you are able to share a bed with another sleep paralysis demon? That may be going a bit too far. Okay. I'll make a note of that. We'll see if we have something available. Okay. And okay. That's pretty much it. Let me put this away. Welcome to the family. Let me give you, these are the keys to my mind. Please take care of them. These are just a copy, and I can change them at will at any point. So, but keep them safe. You know, we don't want any strangers coming in here. Okay, so here you go. I'll just put that down for you. Okay, so I'm really excited. You know, I just can't wait to go to sleep and to see your work. You know, are you okay with sort of moving in immediately? Okay, yeah, perfect. Okay, well, I look forward to your work. All right, then. Bye bye.